This week's episode of Behind the Billboard is sponsored by Biomedia Outdoor.
Hugh?
Daniel.
Good to be back.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I feel very refreshed and ready for the autumn season.
Yeah, it's good. There was a fog this morning.
Yeah. Well, now it's raised, and I feel like I am genuinely really excited. We've got so much coming up. And it was great SimCat the other week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And
we've both been busy, working.
Yeah, kind of like, you know that thing you're going, I haven't got that much on, and suddenly get a bit of freelance. Billboard kicks in and I'm meant to be writing another book.
Oh, I'm doing all this fractional stuff. So actually what fractional means is,
Fractional? What's that mean?
It means that you do lots of different things.
Yeah.
But I'm doing lots of different things each day rather than, it used to be kind of, right, I'm going to focus on this today.
Yeah.
It's I've got to focus on this, and this. For the
but that's because you're out of that structured world, I suppose. Yeah. I was talking to a friend about it.
Embrace the unstructured.
Yeah, and it's bad because it does teach you to do lots of little bits, but then it does take a little bit of your focus.
But this is the great thing about us on the podcast, right? It means that I can focus on. I'm coming into town today. I'm going to do this. I've started walking from Waterloo to here, so I can pick up more and more of the outdoors we're seeing. Yeah, and then tube back so I can see all the tube stuff.
Walking in the outdoors, that is like Vicky Ross's safari thing, isn't it? You got
to see it in the wild.
I mean, we do pick it up on socials, but I love taking shots of stuff we see.
Which takes us to powerful posters. So let's see who we've got today coming in on powerful posters.
Hi Dan, hi Hugh, it's Amy here from Biomedia Outdoor. Now, my powerful poster of the week, it has to be the OG Cadbury. I think the current work is beautiful. It's a masterclass in powerful poster design. They keep it simple, striking, succinct, and it really does grab attention. The distinctive brand assets, they pop immediately. You're struck by a purple, which we all know to be a direct brand signal that they've built up over their 200-year history. And then you have this wonderful cube of Cadbury chocolate oozing with goodness, taking up 50% of the poster. And it's perfectly positioned to subtly showcase the Cadbury logo ingrained on the chocolate, but cut off halfway through, but we all know who it's for. There is a small play on the logo at the bottom of the poster, but I'd argue you don't even need it. I think the poster shows real confidence and it demonstrates the best use of out of home to land one point and let the other media tell the rest of the wider story.
Good one. Nice.
Very nice.
I like it. So what have we got on today? We've got Ajab.
We've got Ajab Samrai. So we've got to get that right. Ajab Samrai Singh. I knew him as Ajab Singh. I'm sure he's going to tell us.
He will. I'm sure
detail.
He will.
And Ajab is very interesting.
He wasn't named Samurai after working in Japan, though, was he? It wasn't like a nickname.
No, apparently not. But that's another level of confusion, I think, which he can clarify.
We can definitely get that from him.
And he said he's going to bring some apples.
Yeah.
And
he's driving the apple truck down, isn't he?
He's parking it in Soho Square. So no, I'm looking forward to Ajab's done loads of great work. I had no idea about his whole Japanese
it's going to be good. Every day is a school day, isn't it? So we're going to find out.
So we're looking forward to that.
Let's go and put some money in his parking meter and get him in.
Yeah. Ajab Samrai, ex-CCO of Ogilvy Japan, winner of every imaginable advertising award, now art dealer and part-time apple farmer in the Malvern Hills.
He's just turned up with a couple of bags of apples.
Mind blown. No, so we have never had that on the show. No one's had an intro of the word apple in or brought.
Well, I think I'm trying to be teacher's pet here. They were plucked off the trees at 5 a.m. this morning. Enjoy them.
So obviously for our listeners, actually, I was going to say Ajab isn't an apple farmer. You might be, but I don't think you are. You have brought these lovely homegrown apples to the studio, and I like an apple crumble. So this is most.
This is the best stuff. It's not a chemical near them, mate.
Exactly. Let's talk about that in a bit. So we're going to do Ajab facts first.
Ajab facts.
Ajab facts. Okay, there's so many things I saw on your website, but we found 4. Ajab started his career at Saatchi Saatchi in 1987 as one of the first British-born Asians to break into the industry. He became one of the youngest creative group heads in the history of the company, going on to work on some of the world's biggest brands: Sony, British Airways, Visa, P&G, Coca-Cola, to name but a few. He's won over 300 awards, which must be some kind of record, taking major honours at every show in the world. And during his time at Ogilvy Japan, he led them to incredible success, including Creative Agency of the Year, and he himself was named Japan Creative of the Year. Again,
but you did all of that under a different name. We've just established that, right?
Let's not get into the confusions of Ajab Singh Samrai, Ajab Samrai Singh.
Yeah, because some our listeners, are you close enough to that microphone? Or pull it out a bit?
No, I think it's fine.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No, because like you said,
lots of people will know you as Ajab Singh.
So if you go through some of the awards books, and some people will know me as Ajab Samrai Singh. And then I changed my name later to Ajab Singh Samrai. Why did I do that? So the way my name was, Ajab Singh, Samrai in the middle, is boys get given the name Singh as a religious name. Samrai really is my surname. That's the village that my father originated from in India. So you always got given
the village name.
So if you think about where you guys were born, Hugh.
Oxford.
There you go.
Yeah, and Kenton.
There you go. Sounds good.
I like Samurai.
It wasn't really a problem. And then I got married and my wife took the family name, which was Samrai, and the kids were born. So, and then whenever we travelled abroad through airports.
So your passport says Ajab Singh.
Yeah, and there said Samurai.
Samurai.
And we'd always get stopped because they said, you're not a family.
Yeah.
And so I ended up changing it just to kind of keep the peace.
But that's because you're a modern man. You changed your name. Yeah, I like that.
And Samurai sounds quite cool anyway, so there you go.
It could have been even more complicated if your wife had hyphenated her name as well, and then you could have
been divorced, mate.
3 names.
Yeah. Well, there's always time. So we have to ask, so what are you up to at the moment? I mean, we've had already various chats about Japan and apples, and what's going on with Ajab at the moment?
So really, I try to keep the mind and body as active as I possibly can. Mm. And about 18, 20 months ago, I made the decision to kind of move away from the business.
Right.
I'd been running my own consultancy with 2 partners. And
what was that called?
Blitzworks.
Yes, Blitzworks. Yes, I saw that.
And that was a project-based agency, very successful. We had a good 4-year run. I mean, our biggest client was the Coca-Cola company out of Atlanta. Wow. It's one of the biggest pieces of business you can have. And
is that where you did the Warhol?
The
film.
I mean, they were just monster briefs, work, multimedia running in 50, 60 countries, just insane. But they take about 8 months of your life.
Yeah.
Enjoyable, hard work. And then I kind of got to the point after the last project, it did really well, the art gallery commercial, it's called Coca-Cola Masterpiece.
Beautiful.
And that picked up, a kind of a silver pencil and a couple of graphites. And I thought, and I was thinking about other things on the art side. And I just thought, right, okay, this is a good one to hang your hat up, right? Move on.
Yeah, rather than a German trade ad.
Yeah, nothing wrong with German trade ads. I've done a few of those in my years. And, my great passion, my wife would say obsession really, has been Indian classical art.
Right.
And I kind of studied it and researched it and for the best part of 30 years.
Really?
And what I'm talking about is kind of paintings that were done under the Mughal emperors and the royal courts of India. Wow. And it's just been a great passion. I kind of dabbled on the side in buying and selling those things for 20 years as I was in the ad business. And I came to this crossroads with advertising, and I thought, make the leap.
Yeah.
And my great master was Paul Arden. I mean, he hired me, he took me under his wing, and he taught me everything at Saatchi's, And I always remember his words constantly ringing in my head occasionally. And he'd go, the last time I saw him, actually, sadly, before he passed, he went, Ajab, don't get too comfortable. Take a risk, live on the edge of fear. And
we'll come to that.
I kind of did that and jumped into the art business.
So are you, because we move on, but are you buying and selling, or are you curating?
How do you jump into the art business?
So I've been kind of doing, so what we do.
You're doing it on the side anyway.
We look at all the art platforms around the world and we source works from around the planet. The collection's got, dispersed all over the world, the fall of the Mughal Empire, the fall of the Raj and whatever else. Right. And so we find works around the world. If it's the right price, we buy them. Yeah. I research them, I catalogue them, and then we offer them to kind of a list of private clients.
A specialist in a way. So you go, there are people out there go, I just want that kind of art.
That particular school, that
It's
particular, and it's some of the most exquisite works. I mean, straight after this, I'm zipping down to the Victoria and Albert Museum.
Right.
They've got one of the best collections in the world. It's just stunning art.
It's great.
And so, it's something I've just been wanting to do for a long time. And after this Coca-Cola job, I just thought that's always the second career I wanted to do. And so, I made the leap, and we both do that. I work with my wife. We have a few moments.
Yeah, I bet you do.
But, it's enjoyable. And
Could you, it'd be great just to see 1 or 2 examples we could put into your thing online.
Yeah, I'll send you some of the stuff.
Obviously, would we be able to afford to buy any of these things?
Well, it depends.
He'll do a nice price for you, okay?
Yeah. I mean, they range. They can range from 4,000 or 5,000. Okay. Some of them go into millions now.
Really? Wow.
I don't deal at that level, but
mates rates.
Yeah. I can find you
a BTB discount code available on the description.
I'll find you a 17th century school miniature of one of the Mughal emperors and see what kind of deal we can do for you, mate.
Right.
And so that really keeps my creative mind, I suppose, occupied. And then on the other side, what I do is when I kind of quit from the advertising business, there's no need for me to be in London. And so we moved out to the countryside. I moved back to the West Midlands, where I originally came from, up into the Malvern Hills, where we kind of bought property where we look after about 7 acres of fruit orchards.
Wow.
That's not commercial. I mean, you'll see the apples. You'll enjoy the apples.
Yeah.
We harvest that every year, and we donate all that produce to the food banks in Herefordshire.
Oh, mate, that's amazing.
That's what we do. So it keeps me physically active, and then the art side keeps the brain going.
Yeah. It's good to have that duality.
And when did you move out of London to do that?
It's about 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
What about making some sort of samurai cider? You know what I mean? Like brand it, get another...
Now we're talking.
Yeah, come on.
That'd be dangerous because I'd end up drinking. So apple crumble pies and fruit.
Yeah, maybe
fruit juices and,
I've got to say, I'm not a mad fan. Are you a cider, Dan?
I like a cider in the summer.
Yeah.
What about down in the West Country?
This has been one of the best years ever for cider because of the summer we've had.
Yeah.
So it's going to be particularly fun.
And you're running your art business from up in Malvern.
Yeah, so
as well.
we do it all from home remotely. We zip down to London as and when we need to have meetings.
Or don't zip down quite so fast.
Yes.
Yeah, listeners will know that Ajab arrived, did a massive skid and legged it out.
With a couple of bags of apples.
Yeah.
All intact, by the way. Didn't drop one.
It would have been a lot easier had I lived in Clapham.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's nice to have a drive.
So, given the fact that you're out in the Malvern Hills, there's probably not too many billboards and posters at the end of your street or the end of the orchard.
I mean, Hugh asked me to do this, and he said billboard at the bottom of the street.
At the bottom of my
and I drove
orchard.
around for 30 minutes, and I couldn't.
There's not even a post box.
It's out in the sticks, right? And the Malvern Hills is kind of designated an area of outstanding natural blah blah blah, and there's no permission. So I ended up driving about 6-7 miles towards Hereford, and I found one.
Yes, no, we have it here as well in the deck.
Is Hereford your nearest town?
We're kind of stuck between Worcester
and Hereford,
right? Just bang in the middle, really, in the middle of nowhere.
So did you just pop in and take a shot of what the first one you saw?
I was just driving around and I saw that ad shell, I suppose, what you used to call it.
Tell us what you've got here, Ajab.
So that's the first poster I came across, and that's it's a Specsavers poster.
Yes.
With a guy squinting at his mobile phone screen, and the line, I suppose it's a typographic idea. And he's saying, "Are you a squint at your screener?"
Yeah.
And then there's a line at the bottom which encourages people to get their eyes tested.
Yeah.
So
Specsavers logo.
The billboard at the end of my street segment sponsored by Super Optimal. So it'd be interesting to see how this tests. Super Optimal is a testing tool for posters that gives you a rating to see how ready the creative is.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's AI driven, it's AI backed, and with machine learning, but with some real intelligence built into it to assess the contents to see how people could potentially perceive the ad. So it'd be interesting to see how this
I think it's pretty good
because of the typographical treatment.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
I think it's got an idea in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, some stuff is just devoid of anything or effort to inject an idea in it. And, Specsavers is one of the few in-house agencies that's really succeeded.
Yeah, amazing.
With For Creative, I think. And they've done some great work and done some good outdoor as well. So I think this is a good hard-working piece of poster work, and it's in an environment where you got time to look at it and whatever.
Do you, because Dan and I are always in this section, it's a segue to, the current state of the industry. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, I know you're obviously in the Malvern Hills with your apple orchard, but I don't know whether you keep up to date on socials. I mean, and do you have, how do you feel the industry is, the outdoor industry at the moment?
The outdoor industry, I mean, you're not seeing as much great stuff or innovation as you used to see. It used to be a greatly loved medium, and you'd scramble to try and do a poster. You're not seeing a lot of great work. I mean, I came in on the flyover into town, and that's where they've got the big monster sites. You'd be hard pushed to see something great. Mm-hmm. And I went past the Cromwell Road, actually driving in,
famous, yeah. Which is famous. The
everything used to be just incredible there.
Yeah.
And there was kind of a lack of kind of great thinking there or innovation. Mm. But yeah, I think it's symptomatic with the entire industry. Is kind of, I don't know. It's changing. There's a paradigm shift with AI going on, and maybe the production of work isn't done in the way it used to be.
Yeah. No, I mean that's interesting. I mean, we feel quite buoyed about it at the moment, but obviously we spend a lot of time obviously looking and talking about it, and it's definitely risen back after COVID. In COVID, it was really obviously bad and a bad time, but it's still not back to where it was. But we always, it's interesting, listening to different guests. Some people have stronger feelings than others, and some people are more surrounded and in it. Like we had Rick Brim the other day. Rick's just launched his own agency, and he was saying it's good. It's not great, and we still need to get back to the great. So I think it's fair enough.
Maybe I'm not seeing as much. I'm seeing a lot of green where I am.
I think it's still percentage based. I think it's better. I think the dial is moving. There's still a lot of functional ads. There's still a lot of rubbish out there that that, like you said at the beginning, it's devoid of an idea. It's blasting communication. Yeah. Whereas I think that is changing. I definitely think there's a shift for it to become better. And in fact, the sponsor of this segment is there to do that. They're helping to move the bottom 40% rather than the top 40% that's doing really well. It's the bottom 40% that need to improve.
I think there's a lot of adaptation that's from the digital space. It's just been thrown onto
which is
posters,
really lazy.
Which is a little bit of a waste, and lazy, I guess.
We're going to move on. I'm looking at your first poster. I mean, I'm going to have to caveat this immediately. It was a different time.
It was a different time.
So
I don't think you'd be able to do these now.
Ajab, tell us about your first ever poster, if you can describe what we're looking at.
So there was a series of them, actually. And one of the clients that we had at Saatchi at the time was Goodman's. And Goodman's was a kind of a hi-fi company that produced record players and in-car stereos and whatever else. Cassette recorders and speakers. People love big speakers in the back of their cars.
Cassette recorder
and,
in a car.
This hi-fi stack, wasn't it?
This was a kind of a little client in the corner that nobody really cared about. I mean, you're talking about late 89, 90. The agency Saatchi was just packed with legend after legend after legend in every office. So the morsels that fell off the table were pretty slim if you were a junior. You cut your teeth on trade ads and B2B. And we had this small David Hyatt. I started off in the business with David Hyatt, lovely David Hyatt.
The man behind Howie's.
Yes.
For listeners, David Hyatt and his partner.
Yeah. So we started off in the business together, and we tried to make something of this little account. And we used to get small briefs, and we always used to write massive campaigns for them. They all used to get blown out. Arden saw this one. He went, great, I love it. We'll make it happen.
So tell us the line. Tell us. What's
going
on.
The category used to be called in-car entertainment, right? If you think about it, which that's what they used to call it. They used to be the biggest manufacturer of car stereos, cassettes, and wherever else, and they had nothing great to say about them because a lot of stuff was made abroad and badged. So we had to it's a bit of borrowed interest, really. And so we came up with the idea, and they wanted provocative advertising. We came up with the idea of, Goodman's Britain's second favourite in-car entertainment. The first being canoodling and whatever
canoodling.
else.
Brilliant. Canoodling.
I'm being polite.
Said.
They are of their time. I mean, you would not be able to do this.
I love it because it's such. It's just a great observation. It's funny. It's a bit edgy. You probably wouldn't do it now. But it was of its time.
Yeah,
right?
and Paul, when we showed him to Paul, and he went, "I love them," and then he cut his diary out that afternoon. We spent all afternoon. He used to do that, doing compositions.
Really?
Did them, and he went, right, okay, there's only one person in the world to shoot these.
I was going to ask who shot
and
them.
he went, Helmut Newton, and I went,
Helmut?
the budget wouldn't pay for his lunch, right?
Oh my God.
Anyway, and when Paul said that, he looked at you and he said, go make that happen. You wouldn't argue with him. So I went up to the art buying department and saw the great Lindsay Winton, who was the head of art buying. And after she stopped laughing for 10 minutes, she went, you don't stand a chance.
Right.
But I knew it was one of Paul's requests. And I had these other photographers in mind. And she came in the next day and she said, he'll do it.
Oh, there you go. If you
And
don't
I went,
ask, you
I
don't
went, can you
for the
explain?
right fee?
No.
Yeah.
No. Because the fee was nowhere near what he was like 10, 15, 20 grand a day.
Wow.
And the fee was peanuts. And she said, oh no, Paul put a call in.
Right.
He put a call into the agent and convinced the agent. Because Paul was working with Norman Parkinson, Avedon, Latigan, and all these. So he kind of had a name for elevating the ad game.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I've just been looking at my screensaver of my kids. Sorry. We'll stick to the advertising.
And then she said Helmut said he wanted to do it because he'd never had his work blown up on posters to that
so he
size.
appealed to his
and so
bit of ego.
So I ended up, well, that's what he wanted. Or he wanted his work.
Yeah.
Huge
It's an ego play, isn't it? I want to see my work on the street.
Exactly, exactly done. And the next thing I knew, I was standing in Monaco in the harbour shooting with this little very angry Austrian, which he was. So that was the first poster campaign I did. But I think when you asked me to dust this off, the story I remember most about this entire thing was I remember I was visiting home.
Yeah.
And I took my mum shopping. Mum and dad lived in Dudley in the Black Country. And I remember arriving at the retail park, and there they were. I didn't know they'd gone up. And there's 3 in a row. My mum just looked up. I was about to say, Mum, I did those. She just looked up. She went, shouldn't be allowed. And I just went, shouldn't be allowed, Mum. And I just put my foot on the pedal and just went on. She never knew I did those. Little Sikh Indian lady. She goes,
Can I just quickly say on that point? So when I did Vote Gale, projecting her onto the House of Commons, the next day I met my now wife's father for an introductory hello. And he said, before I said anything, he got the newspaper and he said, have you seen this? This muck. This is muck. And I went, and I just shivered. And he said, so what have you been up to lately? I said, nothing. Nothing.
Nothing to do with that projection.
One of the things we always ask people when they show us their first billboard, did you take a picture of it? Did you show your mum? And it turns out you did show your mum, but you didn't tell her you did it.
So wait, hold on. So you never told her?
I never told her.
Good man.
And if we get to the last campaign here, which is more shocking.
I was going to say, this is like...
she'd be turning in her grave, but yeah, I mean,
Let's jump into the work.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great piece. So we're going to talk about your work, and we're going to start in the 80s. What a time to be alive! What a time to be in advertising. You're at Saatchi Saatchi. We're going to talk about your brilliant campaign for the Commission for Racial Equality. So I remember seeing this, being blown away by it. Not just because of the lines or the whole vibe, but the punchy black and white in your face art direction. I loved it. Tell us a bit about what was going on and how you got to this.
Well, I mean, the Commission for Racial Equality, I think it's called the Human Rights Commission. It's a government body, actually. They'd kind of been touring the various agencies and they struggled to kind of find an agency to take them on. I don't know why agencies didn't. I mean, they came to Saatchi's and I'd heard about it and I kind of jumped all over it and I wanted to work on it.
Yeah.
I'd had personal experience in growing up in the 70s of discrimination and racism. My father did as well, when he first came to this country. So I felt a bit passionate about wanting to do something in this area. And, David Kershaw, who was the CEO at the time, supported it 100%. And he said, I said, how strong can I go on it? He said, you go as strong as you want. And so we wrote this campaign, and it was all, there was long copy ads as well.
Yeah, the long copy versions of these,
and the posters. And it was all, very factually based, because you can get very emotional in this area. And I felt so strongly about it. I mean, I was an AD, really young AD. I wrote a lot of the copy as well.
Really?
And that was an interesting
That's good.
Because I wasn't working. David had left Saatchi's by that point, and I was working on my own. And
right.
So, we're talking like 1,000 words of copy,
Yeah.
And I remember working into James Lowther. James just said, Ajab, work with a writer. Get some of the copy written by... And I remember going through 14, 15 drafts on each one. I was just passionate about the subject.
Right.
I'd end up getting some freelance writers in and writing some of the headlines.
Really? I didn't know any of this. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I kind of wrote on my own. And then the art direction just fell out of that.
Because this is an ad that's never left me. So I think about this now, about the fucking shit show of the world.
You could run it now. It could be...
And the one I'm looking at, there are lots of places in Britain where racism doesn't exist, and it's got the word here stamped on children's babies' foreheads because it is taught.
Yeah, we're not born that way. We're not born that
behaviour.
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten it. So that, I mean, obviously we wanted you on anyway, but this is one of those moments, mate.
Thank you.
It's a fantastic piece of work.
I mean, the one that got the most notice around the world was and you get annoyed about junk mail.
Yeah, that's
the one that got the most recognition, and actually the one that, we used to get given a brief if the client didn't have a lot of money. Do powerful work and make sure it makes the news at 10. That's what everybody used. And all this stuff made the news.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean,
that one is autobiographical, really, because that happened to us when we were kids.
Seriously?
Yeah, somebody poured their letterbox through and set it alight. I remember.
Jesus Christ.
So that came quite quick.
That was the first one off the...
It's such a good line as well, because it's sort of, you're joining the story late, and you know what I mean? It's such a clever line. It's not like blah, 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 blah. It's just, and you get annoyed about junk mail and you let the visuals do the work. I mean, it's... I think
that was Giles Montgomery was the writer I was working with at the time, but it came out of real life experience, and that stuff still goes on.
Yeah. I
mean,
sadly, it's such a confident campaign, but it's like you said, it's factual, but there's emotion within it. It's got sort of steel about it.
There's a lot of we had amazing photographers on that came forward wanting to work on it. Nadav Kanda,
really?
Barry Latigan.
So Nadav, that must have been early days.
Alistair Thane,
wow.
Really good. There's a lot of people felt strongly about it, and they knew we were working on it.
How did you get, sorry to interrupt, how did you get to this art direction? Because I've only the way you've sort of broken it into these sort of three, they're like little storyboards, some of them, aren't they?
I tell you what it fell out of is, it's my early training in topography. And again, Arden used to really make you set a lot of typeface. I mean, right. I spent the first year of my career living in a Grant Enlarger. Do you remember those things? We used to trace blow the...
Yeah.
So I kind of, spent a lot of time learning about topography. And so, we came across that font, and that font then created the look for everything else. And I worked with a wonderful topographer called Tim Quest.
Oh, Tim, bless him. I know Tim.
Yeah.
He's passed away, hasn't he? But he's such a sweet
But he
man.
and I just spent days and nights. Used to cut the PMTs out, and
wow.
But yeah, that look came out.
Because there was like Roger Kennedy, Scott Sylvie. There's a great typography.
Incredible department.
Yeah. It really was amazing.
Incredible.
Okay, we should move on. But yeah, this is it's such an iconic campaign. Thank you for telling us about it.
We want to talk a lot about the stuff you did in Japan and your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
journey to Japan, how it came about, and what
your journey
to like
so Japan.
Journey to frighten yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Japan was. So I just finished kind of a stint as global creative director on Vodafone.
So you've been around 25 years?
Yeah.
27 in Saatchi,
I was global, and I worked into the wonderful John O'Keefe, who was incredibly supportive. And I remember...
What, you mean the Rottweiler?
I worked with him at Saatchi.
I mean that in a most warm, friendly manner.
I remember having a meeting with him because my stint was coming to an end at Vodafone, and it was a meeting about what I wanted to do next. And John said, "Okay, we could do this, we could do that, we could do that." And I said, "John, can I just stop you there?" And he went, "Yep." And he's so dry, John, right? Yeah. Wonderful bloke. And I went, "Look, I've kind of been a creative group head, and I've run national accounts, regional accounts, and now I've just done this global account." He went, "Yeah." And I said, "I'd like my own office." And he went, "You want your own office?" And he went, "Let me have a look in my bottom drawer." In typical dry form, and he went, "There's not one there." And he went,
Cheers,
he said,
John.
"Okay." He says, "I get it." He said, "Leave it with me and see what we can do."
Right.
And then he put the feelers out of the network, and he came back, several weeks later. He went, "Well, there's this, and there's this." And I thought, oh, God, that doesn't look very appealing, really. And he said, "Look, Ogilvy really want you, and Tam Kai Meng really wants you for Ogilvy Japan." And when I heard Japan, my eyes just lit up.
Had you been to Japan before?
I'd never been to Japan, but I just love the Japanese design aesthetic as an art director. And I was, at the time, kind of quite mesmerised by Dentsu's work for Sounds of Honda, the Senna film, which I thought was just an incredible piece of work. I didn't quite know what it was, Was it a TV commercial? Was it a stunt? What was it? What was it? And I love that. So... again, the wonderful words of Paul Arden came ringing into the back of my head. Don't get comfortable, take a risk, live on the edge. And I had a very young family, and John did warn me. He said, "It's in a bad shape. It can't get any worse." That's how he sold it to me.
Don't worry, you can go there. You can't make it worse than it already is.
But Kai had been, dominating the global network scene, and he said, "Look, I'll support you up to the hilt." And I knew that Japan was a graveyard for expats. It's just impenetrable. Right. Impenetrable. Dentsu Nakahodo dominated it. And me and the wife made a decision. We took the young kids, they were tiny then, and we made the leap. Wow. And I remember 4 weeks later, sobbing in my office, thinking, seriously, I'd made the biggest mistake of my life, because it was literally impenetrable. Right. Creators would come and show you work, and I just couldn't judge anything. Right. Because they'd always back it with a story. But in Japan, Samurai-san, which was messed up in itself with my surname. Samurai-san. And then I thought, this is a bit messy. And then what happens is your back's against the wall, and then all your survival instincts kick in. And all the stuff I'd learnt from the great people I'd worked with over the years and been trained by, people like Arden and Tim Mellors and Jeb Stark, even I worked for him for a while. Yeah, that kicked in, and then also you thought, there's things I want to do, and I was supported, and I kind of dismantled things the way they were and rebuilt them in a new manner. Yeah, and the next year was really bad. I thought I was going to get fired. Right, I really thought I was going to get fired because it just went all upside down. The staff were. But,
was there staff rebellion based on the changes that you were putting in?
There was, because in Japan, you don't make big changes fast.
Cultural.
And then also you cannot move people on in Japan. The laws are you have to pay in 3-5 years.
Right, okay.
And it doesn't matter if they're good or bad.
So you had to stick with what you got.
You stick with what you got. And I didn't really want to fire people, but what I introduced was a new working system that really sped things up. Really, seriously sped things up. And that effected change. We started winning business.
I'm just going to get a picture of you here. You brought some art in as well.
So we redesigned the offices. One of the first things I said, we need to redesign the office because it was like a call centre. So
you wanted to feel like a startup again.
Yeah, and the office was amazing. We bought this art. There was
brilliant.
It was a whole redesign of the whole thing, the whole atmosphere, and then just installing pride in the start. And after about 18 months, we started winning business, and then there was a shift and a change. And people started feeling proud of being there. And one of the things I remember John O'Keefe telling me was that, I think it was John or Kai, went, Ogilvy Japan is good at one thing. He goes, we do a global survey of Ogilvy each year, staff survey, 450 offices. It regularly comes in the bottom 2 of unhappiness. I thought, oh God, this is getting worse.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
So we installed a sense of pride in the place.
So
and then people started coming towards the office and you got better staff. People started leaving. And
so we're looking at, and there's loads of these beautiful lips, the sort of art, they're like pieces of art again, and they have on each set of lips something is mimicked, brought to life.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. So for Tokyo FM,
So
right?
Tokyo FM is one of the biggest radio stations in and oldest in Japan, and they were losing audience to these other shows that they did. They did a lot of music, but people didn't know they had shows that covered art, music, travel, food, and so the job was to try and let people know that listen to these other shows. And so the line was the voice of love with an image of a heart painted onto lips. There was this artist we came across who did all of this stuff.
Yeah.
These are all photographs of actual lip
so
art.
we actually
Who shot them? It's not Helmet.
It would be a very long name of a Japanese photographer that I probably can't.
No, that's
lovely
fine.
Lady.
They're beautiful. I mean, just this whole sort of episode feels it's quite about arty, but they're really that's the thing you'd want to try and create advertising that people would want to put on their wall. And I mean, it does because it has the Japanese type,
Kanji,
the kanji. So
it's a very visual society. I mean, Japanese aren't big talkers, but their visual is aesthetic. Is astonishing.
Was this a particular team that came out with this? Did you come up with it? How did it evolve? And then when you got it, you went, oh, we're off to the races.
So I kind of worked with a small team. So I as Paul used to make myself. I'd work with creative teams. In the morning, I used to get all the ECD stuff. Then in the afternoon, I'll sit down and work with creative teams.
Right.
So that was done with one of my CDs, Ricardo Adolfo, who was one of my first hires. And then, I mean, the young Japanese art directors are actually very, very good, even very early on in their career. They've kind of raised with that.
Did you have a good mix of international staff on the creative team, or was it predominantly Japanese?
It's 90% Japanese. But, the mix changed over time. I wasn't, I mean, what I didn't want to do is just bring a whole bunch of expats.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of the expats left.
Really? Yeah. Did you speak Japanese? Did you learn it?
I had lessons every week.
Did you? Konnichiwa.
But that became.
That's not him answering the question, by the way. That was a very political answer.
Konnichiwa.
I'll do it again. Konnichiwa.
I just that first year I was insane. I was living in about 2-3 hours.
Yeah, but you also had young kids as well, right?
Small kids.
I was a bad kid.
Country.
I was a bad kid not turning up to the lessons.
Yeah, young kids, new country.
The kids went to the British school in Tokyo. The kids could speak Japanese.
Oh God.
They've lost it all now. I mean, the boy's 21 and my daughter's 19. But my wife picked it up. I was the worst. But what we did have, because it was Ogilvy and it was an international office and I was running group companies, I'd have these two girls trailing me around, and then they were internationally trained, like United Nations level translators.
Oh, right.
Seriously.
Okay.
So if you imagine, I used to go into a pitch, and
brilliant.
All the people I'd be pitching to was these Japanese salary men, right? 20, 30 of them in the room. They didn't speak a word of English, and I would, and these girls would just translate in real time.
Oh my!
It was quite.
There's something
I struggled
really
badly with it to start off with, and they used to just slow me down. They used to tell me. And then
because if it was a visual thing, that you'd have Ajab was speaking English and the subtitles would be in Japanese.
No, but it's really interesting. I've done a couple of presentations to the JAAA, where they've been on a tour around the UK to do. Looking at all of the different advertising groups here in the UK, and they come and look. They were looking at Digital at Home. Did a whole presentation. Did it 2 years in a row actually.
Yeah. And
the first time you present with translators is because you stop talking because they're translators.
They're still going.
They don't want you to. They want you to carry on going because they're talking and listening at the same time. It's an incredible skill.
An incredible talent. And I used to use English nuances, and they cut all those out. And then my accent used to go off into black country something, and they'd be confused in a meeting, and they'd have these instructions for me. They'd use their, but in the end, it kind of.
It's a real skill. I don't know.
It's like the old football manager when they have the bloke next to him.
Yeah, and now in a Premier League changing room, you got 12 translators as well as the 12 players from different.
Who's that director Villeneuve who did June? He hardly speaks any English.
Yeah.
And
It's
all those
interesting,
Hollywood
though.
actors.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes amazing.
But you must have. Did you pick up in Japanese? Yes. No.
Oh yeah, I've got the basics. You picked up.
Could you get expressions like "have a bit of fun with it"?
I think even if I'd said that, they wouldn't have gone. What are you talking about?
There's a cultural difference in that.
I think it was a very kind of logical, factual kind of, and they'd follow the instruction,
Right, we've got to move on.
Do you think though that the back in those when you moved over that the reason that the expats hadn't succeeded is because they didn't stick it out as you did and kind of push through the worst? The second year was worse than the first.
Well, I've got to be careful what I say here because there were a lot of expats in charge, and
You did.
they all left. Let's put it that way.
Right,
yeah.
And I think when I went there, I made a promise to myself: remember where you are. Remember the earth that you stand on. You're talking. This is Japan.
Yeah,
you're a guest here.
Yeah.
Treat people with absolute and utter respect, and that was the premise I went into everything. And not in a dictatorial manner,
Right, so
trying to change things.
It's a real skill to go somewhere and change it.
But
and
just respect, really respect them.
What's interesting as well, you'd moved your family, so it's quite a big. I suppose if you didn't have that, you'd think, oh fuck it, I'll just go back. But I suppose you'd gone right.
I had to make it work here
all the way back. Yeah.
And also the other thing was in Japan, the reason the staff were so unhappy was there was a lack of pride because other agencies, the Death Star, I used to call it, Dentsu, their building looks like Death. I mean, I've got a lot of wonderful friends there, but they frowned upon people who work for an international company, so the staff didn't quite feel good about, because Japan is a very kind of national. So it was important that you treated them with absolute kind of respect.
I mean, you had a great run because we're looking at the next one now called it's called Smart Spokes, and it was for Uber Eats. Is that correct?
For Uber Eats. So again, Tokyo, 40 million people, highly congested. A lot of their drivers used to get, cyclists used to get crushed and whatever else. So they wanted a kind of conventional safety campaign. And again, Japan is a very technological kind of country, and a lot of the creatives used to always come up with, technology ideas.
Great.
And instead of doing a conventional print poster campaign, which is what the client asked for, really, one of the guys came up with an idea of partnering with this company called Eyes Japan, which was a technology company that did these. How do I say?
LED spokes.
LED spokes are like gyroscopic or something, right?
Yeah,
and you could animate little messages on them. And I remember seeing this, and I thought, it's a moving billboard.
Exactly.
It's on the bicycle. It makes it visible because all the the heavy kind of load of work was in the evenings, and so these wheels would, as you pedalled.
It's brilliant.
We designed these Japanese icons with these little people going, watch me, see me,
I
care
love
for me.
The film, I mean, for listeners, we'll put the films up, but they're it's just one of those things you look at and you go, God, that's really cool. And I love the way Dan always talks about this. Your quote about tech, which is brilliant. Not tech for tech's sake, tech for creativity's sake. And this is a brilliant example. I sounded quite good then. I do. Got your thing.
You repeated it so many times that it's just embedded now. I'm in your brain.
But it's brilliant. I love it.
They weren't that expensive, and so it became an ad for safety and for the brand. I mean, you'd see them whizzing around.
I mean, when I have to say, when I saw it, because when Dan and I are doing our research and we're going, right, which bits are we going to talk to Ajab about? There's so much stuff. And I went, oh yeah, that looks a bit like Live Paint from Volvo. So I thought, but I wonder what it's like. And it's not. It's completely different. But I mean that in a good way. Yeah. You're going, oh yeah, you'll use it. Because that was all about safety and they sprayed it. I'd never seen this. And I suppose, you get guilty because you do see stuff from your own region. And then it's only when moments like this we meet someone globally and you go, wow. That's
well, they're like really two little screens on the wheel.
Yeah.
So we'd have eyes on them and whatever else, but
Did it win? Did it pick up awards and stuff?
It's in. I think it's got some pencils in D&AD somewhere in there. Right.
Where are we going to go next, Dan?
Let's go into Mount Fuji rubbish billboards.
I'm fascinated by this, right? Because I recently went to Japan with the missus, and we had a lovely time. She lived there. I was saying earlier on, and she climbed it when she lived there, and her friend did, and it's quite a number. It's not like a sort of,
I never climbed it.
Right. So that was, I think, did you climb it and get the idea? I was
just locked in that office for 4 years. The kids went up it.
Right.
The missus went up it with her mates. I never got, because that's the one ambition I've got to go back.
We were hoping it was going to be a really romantic story if you went up there, you saw this rubbish.
I was at the top, and
I thought, I've seen the line. I'm going to make this country a cleaner, better. No?
Well, it was an issue. It was a big issue.
Tell us.
So Fuji, as you know, is the icon of Japan. They actually consider it to be a god.
Yes.
Actually. But it's got a vast space around the base. And in Tokyo, which is, as you know, is a very congested city, the local prefecture, or what we'd call the local council, will take your daily rubbish away. You'll clean your bins, but you had to pay through your nose to get your washing machine. If you had a broken washing machine, a microwave, or plastic, you had to pay through the nose to get that taken. So people used to just drive out at night and just fly tip it.
No.
But because it's a vast area, right? It's a very big area.
Right.
And that became a huge. So they were always kind of looking for one of the creatives I work with. He was part of volunteering groups that used to go and
go and pick up rubbish.
And said, look, there's a campaign there. There's a campaign there. And the idea came of, using the problem that's afflicting the area, use the rubbish to build a billboard that frames and then put it in really strategic positions
to frame
them. And they actually look quite beautiful.
Yeah. The line is, this frame was made with rubbish found on Mount Fuji. Keep Mount Fuji clean, and then to donate a volunteer. It's so simple.
It became freaky because people used to go and have their pictures taken by
next to the rubbish billboard.
By the billboards on Mount Fuji. But it spread the message further on.
I think one of the great things about you being in Japan for us on the podcast is Japan has a love of outdoor advertising, doesn't it?
Yes,
it really does.
Yes, you'll find in Japan their print advertising is very serious. It's very formal. It should be like that. So the chance of doing something interesting in print is next to zero. It might have changed, I don't know. And so outdoor, it's free for all.
It's a bit more playful. It is a bit more playful, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why, Dan,
we were joking about it.
You guys have picked a lot of work for outdoor because it's a country that loves it, and there's a lot more freedom, whereas a lot more constraint on print. Same goes on TV. It's a very formal kind of space.
Yeah, because I suppose, just moving not just on billboards, but looking at buildings and sort of structures. When I was in Tokyo, there were just so many fucking great bits of architecture.
Well, if you talk about the great advertising locations of the world, you go Piccadilly Circus, you go Times Square, and it's always Shibuya Crossing is on there. It's on that list, right? Everyone wants to advertise there. In the country, if you're advertising there, you're a big brand doing the right thing because you're attacking.
The strange thing is, even the TV advertising, which is, I was constrained by 15 seconds. That's what you get because it's so congested. You don't need a 30-second ad would be unheard of. Right. But the ads would be very conservative. Yeah. The programs around them would be off the rocker. They were, kind of crazy.
What was the game show called where they used to beat each other up? It made it over here, didn't it?
Was it a castle?
Brilliant. Takeshi's Castle.
Yes, yeah. The one I was thinking about, which I don't know if I sent you, and it's that one that they use on the Piccadilly lights, but it's a sort of three-dimensional when the cat is coming out of the and it's literally an event. You stop there. Talk about dwell time.
Yeah, Anamorphic really started in Southeast Asia, in Japan and South Korea. Anamorphic, what we're now seeing as anamorphic billboards around the world, started on that South Korea screen, actually.
It's a really good observation.
And it's all over Japan at the moment. They're loving 3D.
Yeah, because you feel like they are big embracers of technology. Oh, yeah. And like you say, it's out there on the streets, but then somehow it doesn't go into the film and stuff, which is kind of good for us. Right, we're going to move on. We've just had the international sign for fucking hurry up, Hugh, from Dan. So how do we say the soy sauce? Sagawa soy sauce.
So this is one of the oldest. Soy sauce, 600 years old. This is one of the oldest heritage brands around. challenge here was really FMCG brand, usually quite shouty advertising. They wanted quiet,
right,
voice, classy.
Can you describe? Because Dan and I we were watching a film. It's so beautiful. It's they're kind of like soy sauce rubbings. You know, you do a rubbing of a thing.
Yeah.
Can I explain that to our listeners?
I worked directly with my other creative partner, Sei Sugiyama-san, and the idea came quite quickly, which is quite straightforward, really. That has soy sauce livens food up. We came up with the idea came quite quickly, which was, it can also bring the posters to life. So then it was a case of use the sauce.
Paint. As paint.
Yeah. But no, we didn't do that. What happened, we employed what they used to call Gaiatku artist, which is a fish printer.
Yeah, right.
So, in the West, when you catch a fish, when it catches a fish, you stuff the fish and put it upon.
Yeah.
They kind of did a print of it.
Oh, right.
Like a bit of washi paper over the top and put it, and then you frame it. So the idea of that, and then, it was lots of different food types, mackerel, okra, onions.
Yes.
So that was great. But, the pain came in art directing it, and that was just hundreds of executions of moving those elements around to just get the right design. And that was the art directional labour of love in that.
Yeah,
put a calligrapher in, and then
It's so again, they're like things you'd put on your wall. There's like you say, there's the mushrooms as well. The octopus is it's like something like a book cover, or it doesn't look like advertising, which is why we love it.
Again, in design, Japan design is really they dominate. The
design awards,
design award, they really dominate it.
So was there special paper?
Washi paper, which is a handmade paper, which is interesting really, because it's the same paper that those Indian paintings I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
very interesting.
And so again, I went to obsessive levels of printing that stuff out.
But sorry to jump in. So the fish, I get that. Put a bit of paper over the fish because it's on the film, and then you're sort of blotting. But then that octopus, that's not that.
They kind of did the same.
Kind of, but it's not 3 dimensional.
Then it's not 3 dimensional. You did a flat print of it.
Yeah.
But some of them can be that big. They're not. That
really?
looks like a.
It looks like a massive poster.
It's not. You get smaller ones.
And then did you have to look at variations of them and go, it's that one? Or you just give? Were you given a range?
You'd have to just look at different. You do lots of different prints.
Right, and some will be heavier than others, like a bit darker.
Yeah, some of them just didn't look like what they're supposed to look like.
Right, but because I imagine like there must have been a smell as well from the soy on the page, or not really?
Not really. I mean, the video kind of explains really how they came to be.
Yeah, we watched the video.
But I think incredible. You move. It's. I think, while the idea is quite straightforward, it's the art direction of placement of those things, the calligraphy. I fell in love with kanji calligraphy, and
it is worth all of our listeners watching the film that is attached to this as well, because definitely. It's worth seeing the process.
And to my surprise,
it won.
That one.
That's great.
Yellow pencil.
Was Paul Arden still alive when you did that? I think he'd have been proud of you.
Sadly he wasn't. I think he would have been quite proud of that.
Right, we're going to finish with sex.
We're going to have sex to finish. He's come all the way down from Malvern Hills. He's brought his apples.
Now we're gonna have some sex. So the sex is condom mania.
Yeah.
So
it does what it says on the tin. So that it's a chain of stores that promotes.
So how did you not kill any? I'm just going to straight in. Why? How did you not kill anyone doing this, Ajab?
Let's talk about the idea first. Then
I'll tell you something. This campaign. I'll tell you a story about Jeff Stark. Jeff Stark, once I was going through a new D&AD annual came out. We always used to rush around.
Yeah.
I remember looking at a D&AD annual with Jeff Stark, and he was flicking through the pages, and Jeff went, that shouldn't have won that. That should be in a category called best use of quick thinking on your feet, right? I always used to put the feelers out to people, go, send me photographs, send me images that you see of great photography.
That's
and I'd get a lot of stuff in. Most of it is rubbish. And a wonderful planner called Paul Matheson.
I know Paul Matheson. I worked with him at BBH.
Wonderful.
Great
and he
man.
went, here's this, it's freaky. It went into the bottom.
Exactly like him.
It went into the bottom drawer. I never thought about it.
What, again. This?
Yeah, the photographer.
The photographer.
The photographer. That went into the bottom drawer. And then we then we got approached by this chain of promoting safe sex, and kids weren't really listening to the government messaging. And I put the two and two together. That was the
explain
best use of quick thinking on your feet.
Explain it's very nice. Explain to our listeners and to us what I'm looking at here.
Okay, are you ready for this? So this is a photographer called Hal, Hal, H-A-L.
Yep.
He's an art photographer, and he kind of roams around the streets of Tokyo, underbelly, in the early hours of the morning. And he goes into nightclubs and he approaches couples and he just says to them, "Do you want to come back to my studio? I'd like to vacuum pack you naked."
There you go.
That's not made up.
That's another first for the show.
That's not made up. That's what he used to do. And
no, didn't he say can I buy a drink first?
And couples used to do it.
Seriously,
and
in the name of art.
He was straight up. I mean, and he had an entire philosophy behind it. You'll see that. I think there's a video.
The video's amazing.
And I said there's a viral film, and then we shot the viral film as well behind it, which went nuts around the world.
So you had this sort of bottom drawer, a scrapbook thing. Then you get the brief and you go.
Then we get him in, and we got him in, and we did the shots, and then we.
So the shots are incredible. They are literally really disturbing. You would never not look at this and stop, which is a job of advertising.
Yeah, it's like preserve the love, wear a condom,
right?
And it kind of worked in the.
Are they meant to look heart-shaped, or is that a kind of?
We tried to do that with all of them. It didn't quite pan out.
So how do you stop people dying? Because there's one bit in a video where she says,
"You watch the video."
Yeah, she says something. She says something like, "Well, I nearly pass out."
It's a fraction.
I can feel his sweat and his warmth as the air was sucked out of the bag.
That was just Ajab. That wasn't.
He knows exactly when to pull the plug on that. But the video shows you how he does it.
But what happens is he gets them in position. For our listeners who don't,
he tells them to take a deep breath.
Take breath.
Then he gets a hoop vacuum on it and sucks the air out. And he literally goes.
And then you can see him.
And then he'll have his camera ready. Go click, 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 and
quickly.
And then all the air's out.
But then in a weird way, it is very. I'm going to say the word opposite. To Japan and Japanese culture, because that's they are kind of into like kooky stuff,
Yeah.
Like we went there. There was a pig petting farm in the middle of town where you could have a cup of coffee and you could pet some pigs, you do. So
Cat shops.
Okay.
I don't think you'd be able to run that here. I mean,
one of the good things is I think we've bookended this episode with the poster that your mum was really freaked out by with another.
Well,
one
I think she's turning in her grave.
Had she seen it,
Mum, that's nothing.
That got silver nomination. I mean, I think
that's brilliant.
It's Steve Henry really liked
it really
when we were
is.
judging them.
But it is that thing. Our job, the job of advertising, and particularly billboards, is to stop people. That stops you. But then what I like about it is it's hardwired to the brand. It's relevant. It's not like some gratuitous, you know what I mean? It's brilliant.
And people in Tokyo didn't find that weird.
No.
I think if you ran them here, people would go, what
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Right, mate, honestly, there's so much stuff.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant for so many reasons. The apples, the sort of stories, your mum, hearing about your name.
I know you're running out of time, so my favourite poster. It's a bit of an obvious one, but, in 1980, when I was at art college, I got really captivated by it. And that's the Erudite poster done by Rob Kitchen and Rob Janoski at F-CCO. And I think that's 47 years ago. If you ran that tomorrow,
timeless.
It'd be the freshest thing that you've seen. I mean, maybe not a Ford Cortina, but and they stuck that to the poster. And it's what is it? It's a bit of theatre. It's a stunt. At the heart is a hard piece of work, selling advertising. It's a demo.
It's fantastic.
And they followed it up by a couple of other posters. But it's art and copy.
Also,
it also sticks sandals to teapots.
Ian Potter as well. Sorry, because Ian has been in touch with the show, and we do want to talk to him.
They were a great agency.
Yeah,
they were.
It's really interesting you've brought this up. So we're not going to give anything away, but we are approaching the 100th episode, and we are counting down the top 100, and it's going to be really interesting where this sits. Because it's really old, but it's really famous still.
Yeah,
and we
have
redefine the category.
It's a piece of theatre, and that's going back to what Tutzel said as well. That is
Ajab,
a standing ovation for that one.
Thank you, Matt. Honestly, on every level, it's been brilliant today.
Yeah, it's been really good. Thank you very much. And
thank you for inviting me on.
Thank you. And give our best to the orchard and
come visit to the countryside.
Oh, yeah, we will.
I'll show you.
We should do one on location.
Take you for a walk up the hills. It's very beautiful up there.
I like Dan's the billboard at the end of my orchard should be definitely a new feature.
We'll bring a billboard up for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mate. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Right. Wow. That was quite a trip, wasn't it?
Do you know what? I want sushi for lunch. Every time we hear talking about the Japanese culture, I was like, really fancy sushi. Really fancy sushi. And look at all that you can hear.
I don't know if you can hear that. I'm not kidding. That must be 50.
There's a bag of apples, 50 apples. You can make an apple crumble.
Yeah, more and more. It's pretty mind-blowing, isn't it, his story?
Yeah.
I mean, and so full of life and vitality. I love Ajab.
I had the chance to move abroad when our kids were young, and I was like, I just don't think I could do it. So I really, that is a brave thing to do. And it's not, my opportunity was moving to another English-speaking country. It was, his is like, go to...
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a certain animal
Japan,
to do that.
Change culture, schools, everything for the whole family is incredible.
It was quite funny that you didn't really speak any of the language as well. You kind of
I liked his answer to your question. So, did you learn Japanese? He went, well, I had Japanese lessons.
That's not the answer. I'm thinking he's probably an asked that a few.
That's very good.
But yeah, again, for the listeners, if you want to see more stuff, his website has all the films. We'll try and put the films up as well. But just a great body of work.
Yeah,
and thank you,
incredible
Ajab,
stuff.
for coming on.
Listen, as always, at the end of our podcast, we thank all the people who have been involved. So the Soho Radio team here are fantastic. Gas music for our theme music, but please don't switch off right now and do listen to our sponsors' messages, which are coming up, because without them, we're not on air. And if you do need support with any of your outdoor placements, if you do want looking at your for Super Optimal, looking at the creative and see if ways to improve it using their system, or if you're after campaigns being photographed in an interesting way, then speak to our sponsors, Bauer Media, and to Super Optimal, and to View to Fill. So their ads are coming up next. Hugh,
yeah,
do you know what I really love about outdoor?
Many things.
There are many things. Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's something that Heg said as well. It's you can't swipe it away. It's everywhere, and when it's done well, the impact really does speak for itself.
Yeah, and I think we're so chuffed about because we've got Bauer on board now, Bauer Media Outdoor, and they just totally get that. They've got the scale. Apparently, I have read somewhere 33,000.
You've read somewhere?
Yeah. Well, someone told me. 33,000 sites across the UK. But it's not just that. It's great how they help brands actually use those spaces properly and in the relevant fashion.
Yeah, it's true. They've got tons of guidance on how to craft, we've heard the term powerful posters, but how to craft powerful posters, making sure that designs are not just seen, but they're remembered.
Yeah. Anyway, so this episode is brought to you by Bauer Media Outdoor, one of the UK's largest out-of-home media owners.
The billboard at the end of my street is brought to you by Super Optimal, design intelligence for out of home. Super Optimal delivers simple, machine-driven analysis and actionable insights for reviewing and improving out of home ad design. Designers and media teams can quickly analyze billboard and poster designs, gain optimization feedback, and deliver out of home design that is fit for purpose. Test and learn. Make informed design decisions and elevate your out-of-home campaigns at superoptimal.ai.
Ooh, That's Nice is brought to you by View to Fill, the out-of-home campaign photography and video experts. View to Fill have spent a decade mastering the art of out-of-home campaign capture. They know how these campaigns run: adaptive display schedules, dynamic creatives, and high expectations. That's why brands trust them to deliver stunning photography and next-level videography. From drones to time-lapse and motion capture, View to Fill turn your campaign into powerful content that lives far beyond the humble billboard. Because out-of-home campaigns are not just about being seen, it's about being remembered and creating a legacy. Want to future-proof your next campaign? Visit View to Fill to capture the essence of your campaign. Our music is sponsored by Gas Music, delivering sound, music, and magic. So, mate, That's Nice.
Yeah. Sponsored by View to Fill.
Yeah, sponsored by View to Fill, and it just continues to go from strength to strength. We we're putting stuff out every week. I'm trying to think actually what we've got coming up because I'm about to post because we're doing it Mondays now.
Do you know what's really good about our Ooh That's Nice is that like the engagement that we're getting with our community on that specific segment is phenomenal. I think it's so great to have people submitting stuff, not just their own work, but stuff that people have seen out in the wild. So if you do see stuff out there and you're interested in getting it on the feed, then do get in touch with us. There's a contact form on the website on getbehindthebillboard.com. So do submit stuff because we read absolutely everything.
Yeah, there's very BBH seem to smash it every week, but Tesco's there's a couple of lovely little digital screens. Tesco's crackling. I saw the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Literally wanted to go and eat some.
Yeah.
There's Rightmove, a couple of nice topical ads, north and south of the river. There's Shish has sent something in, Shish Patel.
Oh, yeah.
Which is done with Meanwhile.
Yeah, is that a flag?
Flag thing.
Yeah,
really interesting. We're going to try and feature that. And then there's a very funny Quick Fit ad, which they've put in Sydney Harbour, and they've worked out the tyres last 20,000 miles, which is what the distance is possibly. Nice. So yeah, lots of good stuff out there, but keep it coming. We can feature probably up to 7 or 8 campaigns. We've got 20 images. So yeah, it's a great thing feature. We
send us a message or a contact form on the website if you've got anything that you want us to see. And we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, see you next time. Bye.